Welcome back to the Perek Project. In Mishnah 6, we are introduced to the next pair of leaders. At this point, the Jewish people were led by a pair, one who was acting as the political representative of the people and the other who was the judicial head of the Jewish people. So we are introduced to Yehoshua ben Parachia, who tells us, Aseh lecha rav, make for yourself a rabbi or a teacher, or kanei lecha chaver, acquire a friend for yourself, v'hevedan es kala adam lekaf zachos, and judge everyone favorably. What exactly is a rav? What is the role of a teacher? So I'll give you an analogy. There was once a person who was feeling ill, and he came up with this brilliant idea. He said, I'm going to go to the chemist, I'm going to go to the pharmacy, and I'm going to buy all the medicines, and I'll take them all. And surely one of them will fix whatever's ailing me. Now, all of us listening to this think, that's ridiculous, right? You've got to go to a medical professional who can tell you what's wrong and then prescribe what particular remedy you need for your ailment. A rav, a teacher, a rabbi, a mentor is the same thing. It's someone who knows you and who knows Torah values. And they can look at you and say what spiritual remedy is right for you. And a person, we each need a competent mentor who can transmit the correct spiritual Torah values to us and that we can submit ourselves to it. As well as having a mentor, the Mishnah advises us to acquire a friend. Now, the word acquire is a very strange word, but it's important because it's giving us advice here. It's telling us that we have to invest in a friendship, even if we are going to cost ourselves financial expense because of it. We have to invest in a friendship. Now, what is a good friend? A good friend helps us with three things. Number one, when you bounce ideas off them, it increases our understanding and success in Torah study. The second thing is, a good friend is not afraid to offer constructive criticism. They are there to help each other become better people and increase their mitzvah observance. And the third thing is that they give good advice and they are discreet. We can confide in our friend knowing that they will not betray our trust. And now he's going to give us the key to having these successful relationships. He's telling us, judge everyone favorably. Now, of course, this does not mean whitewashing bad actions. There are many laws that protect against that. But he's telling us, judge everyone favorably. Number one, because you just never know. I'll tell you a story, although there are many stories like this. There was a person called Mr. Feingold who lived in Israel, and his daughter was getting married, and the neighborhood, the community knew that he didn't have much money, so they collected a fund together to help contribute towards the wedding. And when the neighbors came to the wedding, they were outraged. Why? Because they saw that the wedding was catered so lavishly, and they all felt like, we gave our hard-earned money for such a lavish wedding. And it caused a little bit of gossip until Mrs. Feingold told some neighbors, she says, I have to tell you the story behind it. She says, when we went to meet the caterer, we wanted a very simple menu. But when we were talking, the caterer realized that my father had helped save her family's life. And as such, she said, I want to give you the best of the best, but I don't want you to tell anyone about it. So we couldn't say anything. But then when I told the caterer that people were feeling upset that they had given money and we had given such a lavish catering, she allowed me to tell, which shows us we just never ever know what the real story is. But there's something else deeper here in the Mishnah as well, because the word that he uses is kol ha'adam, the whole person, and he's telling us, judge the totality of the person, because no one is either black or white. And a piece of advice that I read, which is phenomenal, is that when someone annoys you, especially those nearest and dearest to us, write down all the things that they do good for you. And it helps balance out the complaint that we have against them. And not only does this apply to others, but it applies to ourselves. We have to judge ourselves favorably. Don't be too harsh on ourselves when we feel like we're missing in one area. We should look at the totality of who we are and look at all our positives and our weaknesses at the same time. And in fact, this is a beautiful character trait to work on. We're told that God treats us the way we treat others. And if we judge other people favorably, then God judges us favorably as well. In Mishnah 7, Nitai Ha'arbeli gives us the following advice. He says, Harchik mishachem ra, distance yourself from a bad neighbor. V'al tischabe l'rasha, do not associate with a wicked person. V'al tisya'ish min ha'paronios, and do not despair of retribution. Long before the phrase location was coined, the Mishnah is telling us to distance ourselves from a bad neighbor. Check out the neighborhood before we move somewhere, because if there are bad neighbors, we will become damaged. We will suffer damages through that. And more than that, he's telling us, do not associate with a wicked person. We may feel like we are immune to it, but the reality is that we are influenced by our surroundings. And if we associate with people that are bad, people that are wicked, people that don't share the correct values and don't live the life of correct values, that rubs off on us. And he finishes by telling us that don't despair of retribution. If you are seeing someone, a wicked person who's very successful, and you wonder where is the divine fairness, don't despair, because there is divine fairness, whether it's in this world or the world to come, but every action is repaid fairly. Alternatively, he's telling us, don't despair. Don't feel like you have fallen too far. Because no matter how far you feel like you have fallen, there's always hope. There's always repentance. There's always teshuvah. There's always a way back. And this beautiful gift of teshuvah, where a person can have their mistakes and their sins erased, and they can use it as a positive force in their life.